Greetings, family. Sister Shanice in the house. How you doing? We are live and direct to the world. Certainly hope that you have risen in power, risen in strength today, and risen to accomplish much. Certainly hope that each and every one of you is just feeling absolutely fantastic, blacktastic today. And I'm really looking forward to an interesting conversation with you. I've got some, really interesting topics to discuss. The first part is going to be an appeal, a really important appeal from the Gambia. And then the second part is going to be us having a conversation. And I certainly hope that maybe even some of you will decide to join me this evening and come live alongside me today, because today's going to be an opportunity for you, the wonderful audience, to join me here on the Sister Shanice Show. So as you come through the door, please do let me know that you're in the house. Let me know that you are, watching me and where in the world you're watching me from. So just going to post the link as I need to do, because I use Zoom, and so it doesn't allow me to get a link in advance. So just going to be posting the link out to some of my wonderful, wonderful audiences so that you can find me more easily than you would otherwise find me if you don't have the link. So yeah, jump on. Hit me up in the chat. Let me know that you are watching me live. So just going to wait for that link to come through, and then I will be posting it. So how have you been? How has your strong been, family? I certainly hope that it's been a great one, and that you are feeling absolutely elated today, that you are working towards accomplishing everything, all the goals, all the aspirations that you have painted up inside of you. Certainly hope that you are achieving your goals, because, as we know, in life, we all have a purpose, don't we? We're all here for a purpose. And if we tap into our inner self, then, we will know what our purpose is. But we have to be able to tap into we have to take the time out to really tap into our inner self in order to hear from our ancestors, in order to get the information up from our DNA about what our purpose here on this earth is. I mean, what we absolutely don't want to do is to go through life only to discover that, we've lived our life not knowing, not fulfilling our purpose. So to everyone who is on their way towards accomplishing their goals and their aspirations, I want to rise you up, up, up. And if I can encourage or inspire, any of you, my wonderful listeners, to make sure that you are working towards your achievements, and, it would be a job well done. I want to rise up Brother Mama. I want to rise up Teacher Mitri, who were on my radio show a little earlier today. They delivered, wow, some deeply insightful messages from the spiritual realm. Wow, wow, wow. Teacher Mitri was telling us about the 5 truths, and most of us are aware of one of the most important truths that we've got to find out about while we're here on this earth. And one of those important truths that most of us are aware of is the need for us to know thyself. This is something that, our ancestors told us probably tens of thousands of years ago, but, it's written in stone, carved into the pyramids, isn't it? Man, know thyself. But he was showing us that while we're here, it's not just about us knowing ourselves. We've got to know the Creator. We've got to know our environment. We've got to know what was the other 3. We've got to, let me tell you what he said they were, that we have got to know while we're here, because, this is what will get us towards our 5 truths. We've got to know nature. We've got to know nature. We've got to know our ancestors. We've got to know ourselves. We've got to, these are the truths. We've got to know Ma'at and Ubuntu. And, he broke it down. And in fact, it was just so great. I'm going to be asking him if he can join us on one of these lives to share it with you live and direct, because the message was absolutely profound. It really was. And, he made the distinction between the creator and the demigods. The demigods, these are all the gods that we've created over the thousands, tens of thousands of years, that we invest all of our power and all of our energy into, and that we go to, for what we want. When the creator that is inside of us has given us the power to do, and to accomplish and to manifest that which we have been sent here to do. And so that was such a profound message today, because what that said to me is that many, many of our people have been, we've been convinced that what we need to do in order to achieve is to pray. And so where I am in the Gambia, for example, the vast majority of people pray 5 times a day, no less, 5 times a day. The time they're praying, they could be doing what they need to do in order to accomplish what it is they need to accomplish. And then those who are not Muslim and Christians, for example, are in the churches every day praying there as well. But, what we were finding out today and what our brother was showing us today is that we actually have inside of us already the power to manifest, and that the energy to manifest that we're looking for is ourselves. And the way to accomplish what we have been sent to do is not to pray about doing it, but to actually do it. And once we start doing it, that energy will propel us on towards accomplishment. We have been sent here to work, and too many of us are too lazy and don't want to do the work. What we want to do is just to pray for something to drop down from the heavens in our lap, and we don't have to work for it. But, gonna make it. Anyway, family, let me know that you're in the house. Good to see some of you are in here and already watching. Fantastic. Give me a thumbs up as well. Please do give me a like. I'm not having a like already. One, two, family. Give me a thumbs up and let me know that you're in the house and watching me live, and let me know also where in the world you are viewing me from. Francine, rise up, Francine. Good to see you in the house, watching us from Berkeley in California. We got Sister Queen Nzinga in the house, watching us from the UK. We got Dr. Aya in the house as well. Rise up, Dr. Aya, watching us from Chicago, Illinois. We got Dee Dee in the house watching us from the UK. Rise up, Dee Dee. Rise up, Nzinga, saying, talking about the importance of fulfilling our divine purpose. Yes, absolutely. We all have a divine purpose, each and every one of us. And I remember, I think it was Les Brown or one of those motivational speakers that said once that the richest place on this planet is the cemetery. Why? Because so many people have gone to the cemetery with their books inside of them, with their business ideas inside of them, with their creations and their inventions, that they never materialize. So I beg you, don't go to the graveyard, because all of us have to go there one day. That's one thing we don't know. Don't go there with your book inside of you, or with your business inside of you, or with your divine purpose inside of you. Make sure you get a plan in place and a step-by-step plan to deliver your divine purpose. And if you don't know what that is, you'll have a leaning towards it. You'll have a natural gifting towards your purpose. So whatever it is that you're naturally talented to do, whatever it is that you're naturally gifted to do, therein lies your purpose. Okay, so go for it, family, go for it. We've got a whole heap of catching up to do. A whole heap of catching up to do. We have been stripped like naked of our greatness, family, stripped of our greatness. And we've got so much catching up to do. Got a few more messages in the house. Rise up, Delisha. Good to have you in the house as well. She says that she is watching from Maryland in the USA. Whoop, whoop, ah, another family member from the USA in the house. Wonderful, wonderful. First time is in the house as well. Greeting us all the way from Chicago as well. We give thanks first time says, to the most high creator of all creation, the judge, the jury, the only one worthy of worshiping, praising, thanking, remembering, learning, etc., etc. Yes, and the most beautiful thing about our creator is that they have, given us everything that we need to do whatever it is we put our mind to doing, because there's probably nothing that hasn't already been done. And if it's been done and it was done by a human, that means that we can do it too. As I was saying, we've got to recreate, we've got to bring back into existence some of our greatness. Later on in the show, I'm going to be talking about, the items in the British Museum, the V&A Museum, and the Tulikuting them with them. I'm at Gobaka Ashanti. And, when I was preparing for this topic for you, family, I found out that the British Museum has no less than 8 million objects. 8 million teeth-in pieces they've got in that British Museum. And I happened to interview somebody yesterday, and I'm going to have that video ready by Friday and up on my sister channel, yeah? I interviewed somebody who actually managed to go beneath the British Museum to see some of this loot. Now, I often talk about the fact that, I'm absolutely convinced that in the basement of the British Museum, they have got so much of our history there that will probably never see the light of day on exhibition in the British Museum or V&A or any of the other museums that they share artifacts with. And so I'd often talk about this basement, and I'm convinced that the basement has images of the Black Royals, the Black Saints, there's all of our stuff's down there. Well, the brother who I interviewed yesterday, let me give you his name, because he I must know him. The brother who I interviewed yesterday, his name is Naikwati Owu. Naikwati Owu, and he's a filmmaker. And 50 years ago, he made a film, and in the process of making that film, it allowed him to go beneath the British Museum to see some of the African artifacts. And he said, underneath the museum is a complex city. There's a city underneath it with roads upon roads. He said it was like highways and crossroads, and people were going up and down these highways on vehicles that would take them up and down, because the lanes were so long you couldn't walk up and down. Me I talk about basement that time is a city they have underneath there. And it has to be, when you think of the amount of loot that they've got, 80 million pieces of 80 million objects. Wow, but I'm going to be coming back to that in the show. We're going to be having that conversation, family, and I'm going to be posting the link as well. And if you'd like to join me in that conversation, you can actually come front of house, yeah? You are my guest for today. Rise up, Sister Betty in the house. Great to have you in the house. She says, there is a saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. It is. But make sure you live before you die, okay? Nobody live to die. Live. You've been given a life, yeah? You've been given the opportunity to visit this planet. Who knows where we're coming from? what stardust or what planet, or, what molecule we had the opportunity to, come into this world. So we've come here for a purpose. Make sure you fulfill that purpose before you die. Yes, yes. And heaven, we don't even know if there's a heaven. So, and nobody don't go there and come back and tell us. So we don't know about that. That's it. So make sure you live your best life every single day. Rise up, Kamani. Good to have you in the house. King Kampala, great to have you in the house as well. First time left us another message and says, they blocked our connection to the Most High Creator. Oh, yes. Yes, there are spiritual wars. I agree with you there. But you know what? It's for us to reconnect. A lot of us believe, and this is going on the new education that we're getting from Teacher Mitri, who is part of the African paradigm. He's saying that, what we did and where we went wrong is that we put all of our belief system into spiritual objects, ceremonial objects, into sacred places and spaces. And we put our energy into those places and spaces when we were to worship a deity that we could see, when in fact the power is within us. The power of the Creator is within us. So in terms of that spiritual blockage, we have put up these invisible walls within ourselves. And so we have got to, dismantle those spiritual walls that we have put up inside of our mind's eye, and hear from our ancestors, hear from the Creator, and connect with our DNA. Rise up, Brother Simon. Great to have you in the house. Mundele, Yenge Pimpa Kiambote. Brother, great to have you in the house. Our Zulu leopard, our Congo leopard. Good to have you in the house. Yes, okay, right. Yeah, Francine, brilliant. Okay, so we've got some of the families through the door, and we've got a special appeal, which is what I want to come to you with first of all. A very, very important appeal, family. As you know, I'm here in the continent. I'm in the Gambia at the moment, and I'm here because I'm reconnecting with my roots. And it's something that many of us want to do. We want to reconnect with our roots. I mean, some of us have been away from Mama Africa for 300 years, 400 years, 500 years. Some of us left Mama Africa maybe 10,000 years ago, 20,000 years ago, and we were in the Americas, we were in Europe, we were in various other parts of the world. And, but what we do know is that as a melanated person, as an African, our roots, our homeland, where our place of origin is Africa. Okay, so whether we were born in Britain, whether we were born in America, whether we were born in Australia, Canada, the Caribbean, doesn't matter where we were born, the fact is that we are of African origin. And there is a difference between origin and heritage. My heritage is Caribbean and British, because for about the last 300 years, 400 years, my forefathers have been in the Caribbean. And so I have, an immediate heritage in the Caribbean. But prior to my ancestors, my forefathers being in the Caribbean, my distant forefathers were in Ireland or Scotland, and they would have been there probably for tens of thousands of years before, we were all put on the slave ships and sent to the Caribbean. The original and indigenous people of Europe, Britain and the British Isles included, were us as Africans. And we've been there from the Stone Age era, or probably a lot before that. Okay, and so my heritage is in Britain. But prior to my ancestors arriving in Britain, they would have migrated from Africa. And so some of them may have come to Britain via the sea, or if they were among the very, very, very early ones who have migrated from Africa, they would have come and arrived in Europe via land. Because, we migrated as a people in different waves. Some of us 200,000 years ago, another wave, maybe about 100,000 years ago, another wave about 40,000 years ago, another wave of us, 20,000 years. So there were various waves of us, and it would have depended on the climate and nature as well. If we were in the Sahara region where that dried up, or as it was drying up, we would have had to, start walking to find greener pastures. And then as our populations grew, we as Africans eventually populated the entire globe. Wherever you go, whatever continent you go on in this world, the original people, the first people, are us as Africans. And the evidence exists in their complex cities underneath their museums. But we'll be coming back to that. And why am I talking about the fact that some of us want to reconnect with our roots, some of us want to go back to Mama Africa, and get energized, because that's where I think, our energy is, once we reconnect and we ground on Mama Africa, it's like we get a new amount of energy. And some of us, when we're in the West, we get so battered, don't we? We're like, boy, we just have to go back to Mama Africa, recharge our batteries, and then wheel and come again. And so not all of us, feel the need to do so, but some of us certainly do feel the need to do so. Some of us do it, but maybe not all of us do. And, we come over here. Some of us put a plan in place, and it's something that we've been planning to do for many, many years. Some people just said, I'm fed up of the West, pack up and leave. No plan in place, but, they just go and they do it and make a success of it. Some people plan for a long time and don't necessarily make a success of it. But what we never plan for, or what most of us never plan for when we decide to return back to Mama Africa, is ill health. And there have been one or two people who have returned and found that their health has given way. And we have an appeal by a sister who is in that situation right now, family. And so what I'd like to do is just to share with you a bit of a GoFundMe video that's actually going to tell you a little bit about the sister that we are making an appeal for. And I really hope that, some of you will be moved to give to the appeal. It's an appeal for our sister Andrea. Some of you might know her as Anja Afreeca. She has her own YouTube channel. And, really sorry to say that shortly after January the 1st, our beautiful sister ended up in hospital. She became hospitalized in the Gambia because her condition deteriorated. She went on a fast, and, not everybody can fast for like 40 days, but anyway, she went on this fast and it impacted on her health. And so she went into hospital, got taken into hospital, but unfortunately her condition got progressively worse in the hospital. Dehydration, pneumonia, other complications set in. And she's so unwell now. What needs to happen is she needs to be taken back home to New York to be with her family and her friends who can look after her, support her, and where she can get the urgent assistance that she needs. And so we're making an appeal to our family members to contribute anything that you can to the GoFundMe page that has been set up to raise some funds for this beautiful sister. So let me share screen and play a bit of this video for you so you can hear from our family members. Okay, there we go. Let me take YouTube off mute. Excuse me a moment while I do that. I hope no other channels come through. It's just
all of the information in the description box to help this young
one
lady.
second.
So without further ado, I'm just going to read the statement that the family wants us to read. Um, we're coming to you in behalf of Anja Afreeca, also known as Andrea Martin. She is 56 years old. She's a beautiful soul with
Right, let
one
me just
son.
rewind just a
She is
little bit, okay? I want to make sure that you're hearing this, family, okay? Because it's a really important appeal. I've already given, people I know have already given, and I so hope that you feel moved to give as well.
Afreeca,
Where's
also
oh, here we
known.
go.
She is 56 years old. She's a beautiful soul with one son. She is usually referred to as Sister Anja. She is also from Reading, Pennsylvania. Our sister moved to the Gambia and is now in an emergency situation and needs our help. At the end of 2023, she went on a fast and quickly became severely dehydrated, which caused her to have to be admitted to the nearest hospital. While there, she caught pneumonia and purportedly had
Oh, why is that stopped? Okay.
a stroke and that induced full body paralysis. She has been in the hospital since the beginning of January because of this. We really need help getting her airlifted out of Gambia and into New York. Please donate through this verified GoFundMe and share amongst your community. And I will include that on the screen as well as in the description box. We are reaching out to our followers and our subscribers because as a community, we must look out for each other. Many of us want the opportunity to travel and possibly even live on the continent, and Sister Anja is no different. Sister Anja only wanted to live out her dream of being closer to her roots, and she shouldn't have to go through this alone. You don't have to know her to want to wish her well. You don't have to know her to share this with your own community. You don't have to know her to donate to help her cause. She, like any of us, is a sister and a mother, a daughter, and a friend. Experiences like Sister Anja's speaks volume on how it truly takes a community to get through life's trials and tribulation. If any of us were either her or her family and friends in this situation, we would want as many people as possible to organize our safe return home for care. In her time of need, Sister Anja needs as much financial and emotional support as possible to heal fully and peacefully and privately. I added that. Please respect her privacy. If you're curious as to where the donations are going and who will receive them, Kelly Watts, a longtime sorority sister and sister friend, and Robert Martin, her brother.
Oh, sorry about that, family.
Her brother are the people who will be handling it. You can also go to Smile Lounge and Zola Cafe if you are here in the Gambia to leave your donation. Sister Anja's case is a matter of extreme urgency, and she is in dire need of donations for her to be transported out of the Gambia and back to the United States to receive the medical care that she needs to survive. So, guys, if I can say in ending,
Apologies, family. My YouTube
If we share this with other influencers, positive influencers, we get this information out. If 1 million people could just give $1, that's $1 million, you know. So, I mean, of course, we have people who can give more, but we're just giving an example of how it only takes, a small commitment from many.
Everyone do their part.
Everyone do their part. We have dropped off our funds, some funds at Cafe Zola, and we will drop off more within the next couple of days or so. So, guys, again, please respect the family's privacy. Please give as you would want it given unto you. And without I don't have anything else to say except for this can show Pan-Africanism, showing us coming to, hey, it's not just an African thing, it's a humanity thing.
That's right.
So whoever sees this video, no matter what your color is, please give to this cause and help our sister get back to the States so that she could get the care that she needs. Thank you all so much.
All right. Thanks, family.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Okay, family. Let's stop sharing there. So
I'm African. I'm African. I'm African. I'm African.
where's that coming from? My apologies. Let me open this back. Where is that? Maybe it's behind here. Hang on, family. Let me mute YouTube. It's doing its own thing. Mute. That's it. Quiet yourself, man. We'll tell you so you can't go on at all. All on there. Okay. Family, thank you so much for listening to that appeal. You can actually go to GoFundMe and you can make a donation there. I'll just find my links again and come back with more details. So our sister, Andrea, beautiful sister. I do know her, and I've met her myself here in the Gambia, and she's a beautiful, beautiful sister. And this is something we don't foresee. We make our plans, don't we? But we don't know what could get wrong, what could go wrong, and what could be in the way of us achieving our goals and our aspirations. And so it's so, so important that, when something like this happens, that we are there to support each other. And Sister Andrea, she needs our support right now. Let me see what you're saying in the chat. Dora Bell, welcome, welcome. You said, Sister Shanice, what's going on with DS Jammer's etymology book? I'll have to ask him. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. He did say it was going to be ready around about March or so, so I will ask him. Francine says, how much money is needed? Well, what I do know, it's quite expensive to airlift somebody, out. So it's going to take thousands. How many thousands? I don't know. But we're going to need thousands and thousands of pounds. And plus for her care, because as you've heard, her condition has really deteriorated. And so she's going to need long-term care and assistance. So we're trying to raise as much as we can for her to get her to the States. That's where the biggest costs are going to be that we're likely to incur. Oh, wonderful. Ches has said, I've sent the links to you, Sister Shanice. Thank you so, so much. Let me find the link in my chat, and then I will post it in the chat. And family, feel free to post links to her site and etc. in the chat as well if you have it. That would be great. Thank you, Chester, for that. I'm on it. I'm in my YouTube now. It's just that when I'm doing Zoom, everything moves really slowly. But yeah, I'm grabbing it now, and I'm going to post it in the chat. I don't know if it will all post because we do have limits with the amount that can go in these chats, but hopefully you'll get some of the links, okay, that will take you to the site where you will be able to make a donation to help and support our sister Andrea. As I was saying, many of us, we say we want to go back a yard, we want go to Mama Africa. Some of you like myself, when we used to go out to the parties and the dances, we'd be singing about Mubia, dun, 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 back to Africa, dun, 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 and we'd sing all the tunes, and so we're going to go back to Mama Africa, we're going to visit Africa, some of us do and some of us don't. But what we're saying is that, it works for most of us, it's great. But one thing we can't plan for, is ill health. And sometimes, these things do happen. But if you can give, it doesn't matter how small it is. If you can contribute anything at all, please do. And even if you just share it with family members and friends, that will help. But because, a family member may want to make a donation and a contribution towards the cause. I'm just reducing some of the words here because there's too many words here. But I'm just resending and just asking our family members to kindly give. It'd be wonderful, wonderful if we can look back at this and see that, some of you have indeed given to our sister to support our sister in need. If you've just joined, welcome, Sister Shanice, live and direct to you, live and direct to the world. And as always, just so privileged to be able to address you, my wonderful, wonderful audience. And I've just been sharing with you the plight of one of our beautiful sisters here in the Gambia. She is very unwell and in hospital right now, and her condition has seriously deteriorated. And so we are appealing to you, our wonderful family, to support our sister if you can. We've just set up a WhatsApp group. One of the sisters here has set up a WhatsApp group, and she's added many YouTube influencers like myself to that group. I've been honored to be part of it, and we are all coming together to support where we can, okay? Because that's what we've got to do. We've got to be our brothers and our sisters' keeper. We've got to be our sisters and our brothers' supporters. We can't expect others to do it for us. We have got to do for ourselves. We're on our own. So thanks to everybody who has already given. To those who are thinking about giving, please do give. It's a sorrowful situation, and I'm sure if any one of us was in that situation, we would want our family to rally around, our wider family, our community family. We'd want our community family to rally around to help us. So let's jump on board and do what we can. Brother Kwame Aboje is in the house. Rise up, Brother Kwame, saying absolutely. First time is agreeing as well. Thank you so much. And Kwame saying he's so sorry to hear. And he said, and I will be kind enough to donate. Thank you so much, Brother Kwame. And if some of you and each of you, if you give during this show, just post in the chat and let us know that you've made a donation. It would be absolutely phenomenal. I want to rise up Brother Mama, who has given as well. Let me turn on, plug my computer in just to make sure that I don't die on us. Yeah, so rise up Brother Mama. He sent some money to me directly and has asked me to contribute that towards the sister, which I will do either tonight or definitely by tomorrow. If it's too late tonight, I'll do that tomorrow. So thank you for your kind donation, Brother Mama. And also I want to rise up, each and every one of you who have made up in your minds that you're going to give. To those who have already given, We thank you so, so much. If you want to go directly to the page, you just go to gofundme.com/f/emergency assistance the number 4 Andrea Martin Andrea. Just go to GoFundMe and search for emergency assistance for Andrea. The 4 is number 4, emergency assistance for Andrea, and it will come up. Okay. We thank you so, so much in advance for giving. Many of you have donated. Thank you so, so much in advance for your donations. Okay. Well, you know, we have to support each other. We have to be there for each other, don't we? Absolutely. So I might come back to this again towards the end of the show this evening. Okay, family, the other part of the show that I wanted to bring for you today is the topic surrounding the return of some of the items to Ghana. As you know, the Victoria and Albert Museum, as well as the British Museum, have actually announced that they're going to be returning some of the stolen treasures that they have there to the Manhaya Palace Museum in the Ashanti region of Ghana. So they're going to be returning some of these gold and silver and royal regalia stuff that they looted back in 1874 and 1895. And I want to ask you the question, you know, the fact that that Britain has decided and the museums have decided that they're going to return some of these stolen treasures. Mind you, as a loan, did I say loan? Yeah, they're not getting them back, they're loaning it to them, yeah? What are your thoughts on that? Is it a good gesture or is it an insult? If it's a good gesture, why is it a good gesture? If it's an insult, why is it an insult? I would love to hear from you. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of interviewing Nai Kawati Owu. He would have been on here tonight, but he's actually in another meeting because he's going to be part of the ceremonial event tomorrow in Ghana, and he's going to be, you know, with the king tomorrow as they receive and as they display some of these wonderful golden artifacts that have been returned. And Brother Nye, back in 1970, he was one of the first to sound the alarm and to light the fuse for the call for the immediate return of some or all of the looted, stolen artifacts that was in the British Museum. He was campaigning and calling for it to be returned to its rightful owners. This was, you know, more than half a century ago. And how is it that he happened to be at the forefront of making this call? Well, he's a Pan-Africanist and he's also a filmmaker. And it was 53 years ago that he made his first film. And his film was entitled, You Hide Me. When I have him on, you know, we'll show you some clips of that film, You Hide Me. And basically that film was about our stolen treasures that was in the basement of the British Museum. But he said, you know, yesterday when we interviewed him, he said, I said, what was it like down there? He said, it was like a complex city. He said it was like a city under the museum. It isn't just a basement, it's a city with like roads and crossroads and more roads and crossroads. And it's from floor to like ceiling of massive crates full of loot, full of treasure. And he had the opportunity to spend a day down there in the British Museum with his camera. And he was the first person, apparently, from the media who'd been allowed to go down there and enter the vaults of that underground city. In fact, he says he was the first and the last. So in my interview, I asked him how it was that he managed to go down there. I asked him how it was, what did he see when he was in the basement, etc. And you can hear it from him himself in the interview on the sister channel. Remember, I've got another channel as well, where I post a lot of my videos. That channel is African World Affairs. So do make sure that you are a subscriber to that channel as well, because that video is going to go up, if not tomorrow, definitely by Friday, the latest. So make sure you take a listen to this interview that I did with Nai Kwati Owu, because wow, it was absolutely phenomenal. I've just known in my spirit that down there under the British Museum, they've got loads of our artifacts, but I had no idea the size and the scale of that basement. It's not a basement. He said it's a city under there. They go up and down these long corridors or roads in vehicles because you can't walk it. It's so much. And the British Museum, they have actually got a lot of these artifacts and these objects. They say they've acquired them. They've looted them. They've robbed the graves of our kings. They've robbed the graves of our ancestors. They call it archaeological digs. And so they go all around the world saying, oh, we're archaeologists and, we're just digging the graves of your kings and your ancestors. And they're not even telling the locals when they do all of this. They're not telling the locals that while they're digging, they're actually stealing and taking, ancient artifacts, ceremonial pieces, because, from Africa to Europe to Asia to the Americas, our ancestors and our kings and our priests and our royals were buried all over England. We've got about 20,000 mounds. 20,000 mounds. These mounds are like mini pyramids, yeah? And there's some of them that's so special that when there's like a solar eclipse, it lights up the the inner sanctuaries or the inner burial chambers of these mounds. When you begin to even think about the science and the knowledge of astronomy and mathematics and everything that goes into those calculations, makes you realize, that our ancestors were on another level when it came to, the knowledge that they had of mathematics, of astronomy, of science, of the environment, of the stars and the planets. It's just phenomenal. So anyway, there's about 20,000 of these mounds, and some of you might say 20,000. Why so many? That's because for hundreds of thousands of years, the original people of Britain and the British Isles were Africans. And we had African kings, African queens, African royal families. And these African kings and queens and royal families were buried in very large, ceremonial, prestigious ways, similar to the way that they would bury the pharaohs. Because, we came up from Africa through Egypt, across the Mediterranean and into Europe, and we brought a lot of that culture with us. Slight, divergences, but it was the same kind of spiritual belief system, that there was an afterlife, and so our kings would be buried in their burial chambers with their worldly goods. Their gold, their diamonds, their, and all of their wonderful, magnificent treasures that they would have had in their homes while they were alive. And so these archaeologists, or these damn thieves, they would go and dig up these mounds all around the world, not just in England, but everywhere around the world. And they would take what they find, and they would bring it back to their museum. And just to make it really difficult for us at any point in time to get a full picture of what they found in some of these archaeological digs, or, some of these looting expeditions, just to make it really difficult for us to be able to to see all of that, they would give some of the loot to the museum in New York. They'll give some of the loot to the museum in France and some to the museum in Italy and the museums all around the world. So basically they would scatter those African treasures all around the world. And so here we are as researchers now having to try and search and find, our treasures, our African treasures. Well, what we do know now, without a doubt, is that the British Museum actually has a huge collection, 8 million objects at least, and probably still counting, that belongs to our ancestors and the ancestors of many other groups from around the world. But as the ancient people of the world who had ancient civilizations, who were, making these wonderful objects out of wood, stone, and various metals like gold and silver and brass and iron, etc. The collection that they must have in the museum from our royal houses and the royal tombs that they raided, it's just unimaginable. Wow. So some of the things that they do admit to having is they've got like exquisite royal gold ceremonial objects. They've got jewelry, silks, other textiles. They've got sculptures made of wood and other metals. They've got brass plaques and sculptures and all of these things, religious paintings from Ethiopia, Paleolithic stone tools from Tanzania, and all of these works that they find basically speaks volumes about the scientific and technological skills of our ancestors during those times. And so, if our ancestors, if we want to know what our ancestors were making and creating and what skills they had and what they were doing, we are the ones who should have access to all of this. Those religious paintings, the paintings of our ancestors, our monarchies, because, back in the days, we didn't have cameras as such. And so it was about portrait paintings. And so our kings and the royal families, they would pose for their portraits, they would be painted. And you can see from the exquisite jewelry pieces and the intricate designs on them, you can get an idea of how artistic our African artists were back in the day. And they would paint these marvelous pictures, lifelike pictures of the royal families. And they've got them down there in those basements, in those underground cities. And what they do is they pull them out and then they copy them and whitewash them. And then they take the history for themselves, and it's our history. Oh my gosh, these people, they're not easy at all. They're not easy at all. And so what we do know is that they've got objects that go back to the Stone Age era. They've got objects that go back to the Bronze Age era, the Iron Age era, and all of this, they find among the grave goods when they go and do their so-called archaeological digs. And wow, when you do get a glimpse into what they find when they do these grave digs, it's unbelievable. It blows your mind. England's very good at covering up what they find. But other parts of Europe, sometimes they will let you see what they have found. And, they find things like chariots, golden chariots, golden slippers, necklaces, gold bracelets, buckles, golden chains and crowns and armor. And oh my goodness gracious me, the things that they find in those graves speak to us about the greatness of our ancestors. And so when they hide all of this away from us in these vaults, we just don't get to see. We don't get to see them, and we don't realize, and we don't know, some of us, just how great our ancestors actually were, and therefore how great we are as a people. Let me go over to the chat and hear what some of you are saying. It feels like I've got a little something in my eye. Apology for keep troubling my eye there, family, but then I go, the show must go on. So rise ups, Queen Nzinga, yes, he's still in the house and saying, I never gave consent to anything. So that's to do with her divine power. Didn't give consent. Is that to them taking our objects? Let's scroll up and come down. Yes, Dorel is saying full of booty. I recently watched a YouTuber break down booty and how it referenced the B1, the Black First, POWs, prisoners of wars. The B1 woman's body is the treasure. Yeah, our ancestors really did, treasure the Black woman's body. Oh my gosh, if you go back like 20,000 years, you have all of these, what they call Venus figures, Venus figurines of the African woman. And you can tell it's the African woman because you've got the Hottentot type behind, or the Mary Bartman behind, and the African figure that you see over here. They ain't no European figures. And those figurines go back tens of thousands of years. And there were so many of them. They found so many of them. It's clear that, these figurines were an object that, our people had and, reverence. They admired the African woman's body. And why did they have so many figurines of us as African women? Because they recognized that we were at one with nature. The African woman was nature reincarnated, because in the same way, nature brings forth fruits, we bring forth life. We bring forth fruits. In the same way, that nature reproduces, we, the women, reproduce. And so, our beautiful Asian communities recognize and appreciate love, the woman and what she does and her role on this earth. And so they've literally found thousands, probably tens of thousands of these figurines from Africa all the way up to Europe. Rise up, LB Brown. Good to have you in the house. He's saying, shalom, Sister Shanice. Norman, good to have you in the house. He's saying, what is the valid reason for white people taking African artifacts to study our way of life or to copy cultural norms evident in our educational and technological fundamentals? Absolutely. Because, they study these artifacts. They study our history, they write about the people, they write about these kings and queens, they write about it, but then when they put the images to go with these writings, they put their own images there. And then it leads many of us to think that it was their history when it wasn't their history. And it's not their history that they're writing about and talking about, it's our history, our history. Kwame says these demons have no remorse when they steal our cultural valuables, such as our medals, our golds, our diamonds, etc. They are a bunch of thieves and demons. Yeah, and them still are thief it. Them not stop. Them thief from us, whether we're dead or alive. Imagine. Norman says, Doravel, I tend not to subscribe to that belief. Exploitative relationships, yes. Not sure what that is. Yeah. So I have my, yeah, so Nzinga saying, yes, I never gave consent to anything, so I have my divine power. Powerful sister indeed. Queen Nzinga, please do post the title of your books in the chat. If you haven't got Queen Nzinga's books, you must get it. Powerful, powerful book indeed. And she also says, Kwame, right, yeah, Sister Shanice, You and I shouldn't be surprised these demons thief our items and how they covered them up. So, you know, all of us know, so them a big time thief from morning. For centuries, they've been thieving and then continue to thief until today. Kwame says they should give back our bronze medals from the Dahomey that they stole. Yes, indeed. They need to give them back. So, you know, most of you in the chat, you're actually saying that they should give them back. They shouldn't be loaning them. They should be giving them back. Brother Simon said, teeth, them are teeth. 100%. Yeah, man. And then dress it up too. You know, they to rob our graves, to rob the graves of our kings and our monarchies, you know, our royal families. They call it archaeology. Them come with them name to dress up robbery, but it's daytime robbery, you know. And imagine, these are the tombs and graves of our ancestors. Yet if we decide, so we want to go dig and see the artifacts that our ancestors left behind for us, the future generations, to see, you know, make we say we are going to go dig anything. You want to see how we end up behind bars. But them now, yeah, dig till them can't dig no more. Of the 20,000 or so of these mounds around Britain, I think they've dug at least 75% of them, you know. Let's see what else we've got in the chat, family. Yeah, post your comments in the chat, family. And also, please do remember to give to our sister Andrea, who's in hospital right now in the Gambia and needs our support. Please do remember to give as well. First Time says, take care, my spiritual family. The world leadership system has been held spiritually accountable for the oppressive actions and atrocities, regardless of faith. So they should be held accountable, you know. But we have a duty and we have a responsibility as well. We should not be sitting idly by and allowing these so-called leaders and allowing these looters to loot and get away with it. If we are allowing that to happen, then we've really got ourselves to blame for the situation that we are in. You know, we need to take back our power as a people, and we need to say, no, we don't think this is acceptable. This is what we want. We need to make demands, because when we start making those demands, when we start saying this is not acceptable and this is what we want, the universe responds. You know, but if we don't say nothing, then the universe is going to think, oh, we are all right with the way things are, you know, and I'm not sight for God. So, family, we need to start doing more, not just praying more and begging more and wishing more and hoping for more. No, that no, go make it. We are praying, we are begging, we are walk for hundreds of years. And that no work, yeah? So we have to start do, yeah? We have to do what we need to do. First Time is saying more important than anything, first and foremost, and then it stops there. So not sure what that is. Brother Kwame says, so we can send money to you, Sister Shanice, on her behalf. You can do, but I'd rather you just send directly, my beloved family, to the GoFundMe. I mean, it was a one-off. Mama sent it to me because he was having problems making the donation to the GoFundMe account. But if you can, do it directly, please, to the GoFundMe account. Thank you. We've got a family in the house from Ghana, with love from Ghana. Welcome, welcome, who says, it's a big insult to loan them for 3 years. I'll be attending the ceremony tomorrow. Oh, wow. Please do come back next strong and let us know about that ceremony and how it was. Oh, wow. Imagine being in Ghana right now for that King's ceremony. Absolutely phenomenal. Rise up with love from Ghana. Love the sound of your channel. First Time says, get your spiritual connection to the Most High Creator of all creation back. Get it back. Yeah, go inside yourself. You know, the power is within. The Creator has given us all that we need to do all that needs to be done. Norman says, usually watch you from New York, in Jamaica, tuning in after not returning in at least a decade. Long time, man. So what, Norman, you got Jamaica on a holiday and you decide, so you know what? We're not going nowhere else. I'll stay right here. Why not? Right, so what Amaya, who's in Jamaica right now, and I know King Maponga, if he's not already there, he's on his way to Jamaica as well as our beloved mother, Arikana Quayle. She's going to be in Jamaica as well. They're going to be there for the Ubuntu Summit. If you remember, we interviewed Brother Josie about a month ago. He was planning and preparing and organizing for the Ubuntu Summit in Jamaica. Well, it is happening now, family, and I hope at some point in the next couple of strongs we'll have Brother Josie come back and share with us some video clips and some of the highlights of that summit. Wow, wow, wow. Can you imagine, you know, our sister Arikana Quayle, Wadamaya's out there, King Maponga's out there, and all their other guests are out there. It's gonna be fire! Oh, that must be phenomenal. A phenomenal Pan-African conference, one that's going to go down in history. And the great news is that there's going to be another one next year. The one next year won't be in Jamaica. They're going to be holding it in different parts of the African and Caribbean world. And so really looking forward to hearing how the first one went. So yeah, family, just to remind you, please do scroll up in the chat and click on the YouTube or GoFundMe link and support our sister Andrea, who's in hospital at the moment in the Gambia and needs to be airlifted back to the US, where she's got her family, her friends, and her doctors, and those that will be able to treat her condition. Okay, please do support. No amount is too small. Every nickel make a muckle, we say in our Jamaica. One quarter full basket. So please put in a quarter and help fill up the basket. Yeah, rise up, rise up. Let's go down in the chat, see what else you're saying. Yeah, please do remember to give us a thumbs up, give us a like as well. Ches says, please donate if you can. I just donated. Thank you so much, Ches. Yeah, Ches has just donated and has said, please share the links as well. Share with your WhatsApp groups, share with your family, share with your friends, okay? We need to help our sister who's in a very bad way right now. Please, you know, let your ancestors see that you have done something to help. Let the diary of your actions while you're here on this earth be written that you helped when help was needed. You gave help when help was needed. Rise up and thank you so much in advance. First Time says, your opening statement is so true. The control used from these artifacts has been nullified spiritually. They have attacked on multiple levels. Yes, we have been attacked on multiple levels. You know, we need to get our things back, our goods back, because when we get back all of those artifacts, they will be able to speak to us. They will be able to speak to our spirit. But you know, what we have to make sure of is that we don't allow our spirit to be arrested in their things, which isn't designed for us. You know, if we look back over the last hundreds of years, and then look back prior to that to see where we were in terms of our former greatness, we will know that, you know, we were leaps and bounds ahead when we were in our right mind, following our own spiritual practices, doing our own sciences and technologies, you know, the craftsmanship, the skills, where, you know, we've still got all of those skills. And we need our young people to have sight of the greatness of their forefathers and ancestors so that they can be inspired, you know, to do great things. Okay, let's see what we got here in the chat. Does anybody want to join me on the platform? If you do, let me know in the chat and I'll post a link so you can jump on and come on the front stage with me. Rise Up Chairs, thanks again so much for donating, and thanks for reminding the family that they can actually share the links as well to their WhatsApp groups and your Facebook and all your other channels as well. Norman says, should not have taken in the first place from its place of origin. That's right, but they can't help themselves, can they? Them just love for teeth. That's all them do. From day one, you know, when they're out there, they wage war and they decimate and destroy, you know, your cities and your kingdoms. By the time they finish reducing it to rubble, look what going Israel right now and Palestine right now. By the time they finish, they've reduced your kingdom to rubble. And 2-3 generations to come won't even know that there was a great kingdom and a great city, you know, prior to the invasion. But a sudden move, rise up, rise up. So yeah, keep your comments coming. Let's scroll down and see if we've got any new comments in the chat. Yes, we do have. Dorel says, Michael Imhotep says, just because things are above your circumstances, above your circumference of understanding doesn't mean it's not true. Ultimate says, thank you for your service. I just donated. Thank you so much, Ultimate. Rise up yourself. Whatever you donated, however much you donated, may it come back to you 1,000-fold, 1,000-fold at least. Rise up, rise up. With love from Ghana is saying that you will do. Will do what? From Ghana. Dorel has said, Orman Henderson, I have been given a great saying that I now share with you. Just because I don't believe it doesn't mean it is not true. Just because I don't believe it doesn't mean it's not true. Oh, okay, yeah, cool. That's true. Kwame saying, exactly, my sister. They can't help being thieves. I know. They need to lock up themselves behind bars. And they've got the nerve, you know, to want to lock up somebody if them a thief a loaf of bread and them hungry. Yeah, they will lock up a hungry man, yeah, who thief a loaf of bread quicker than they would lock up, you know, their big time thieves. They got 80 million objects in the British Museum. Wow. Let me go to my notes and see what else I can find out about that they've actually got down there going on. Imagine. Okay, let me just please use that. Right, so when I was looking at some of the articles of this and I was looking to see how much loot that they actually possess. Yeah, 80 million objects. The British Museum collection totals at least 80 million objects, at least, you know, and only about 80,000 objects are only ever on public display, a fraction are only ever on display in the British Museum. And Mr. Hunt, who is of the V&A Museum, said that they own, he says, a small collection of just 2.8 million items. Their items hasn't been disputed. Wow, look at the scale of it. And that's just in 2 museums. And so as we can see, there's just so much that belongs to us that's sitting in those museums. Let me go to a couple of articles and let's have a read of what's going on in relation to these museums and the stuff that's being returned. So I've got an article here from the BBC and it says, Ashanti Gold, UK to loan back Ghana's looted crown jewels. They should be ashamed of themselves. And they've got an image here of a wonderful golden crown with horns on it. And then thief that image and put it on the head and feed themselves and call themselves Saxons. My gosh. You see? You know, when you crawl out the caves on all four and you don't have a history, you don't have a language, you don't have, you know, you can understand why they do it, right? But, you know, give credit where credit's due to the originators of these cultures and these designs and dress and stuff like that. Give credit where credit's due. Anyway, this crown, this is the crown, and it's got lots of gold nuggets on it. It's got gold heads going around it. It looks like a staff around the heads as well, because the staff represents power, you know, and royalty. And it could be, there's another one above the head here. I don't know if it's a snake, because as you know, our people at one time, there was a snake worshipping cult at one time as well. And then it's got the horns, two horns, like two bull horns, that is made of gold with some gold beads going around it at the bottom. And then it's got a wonderful pineapple looking thing in the middle on the top of the crown, in between the two horns. And then, you know, you would think, if you didn't know that this artifact actually was stolen from the Ashanti Empire, you would say, oh, that's a Saxon's helmet or a Viking's helmet, you know, because they've used Hollywood, you know, to claim our history and everything that represents our history. But you can see an image of that. In fact, let me share a screen so that you can see it. Right, let me come to you. I'm going to share screen. And so you can see this wonderful artifacts that I've just been talking about. There it is, family. Yeah, let's get this out of the way. Now, where have you seen, on whose head have you seen a helmet like that? You know, tell me, you know, when you see that, if you didn't see the distinctive African features on this helmet, yeah, here, and there's another one here with the shiny bumps, or the, you know, the African curly hair. You know, there's the staff, that might be a snake, not sure, let's home in on that, it might be a snake. But that other one is definitely a staff. So by the looks of it, you know, would you know that was African? Haven't you seen this in Hollywood? Whose heads have you seen this on? So anyway, this is one of the pieces that's going to be going back to the Ashanti Kingdom for tomorrow's ceremony. And it's called a ceremonial cap, okay, that's worn by the courtiers at the coronation. So it's very timely that it's actually going to be going back to Ghana for the King's event tomorrow. And it's been away from Ghana, we see here, for at least 150 years after them Lutan Tifit from the court of the Ashanti Kingdom. So a gold peace pipe is also among the 32 items that's going to be returned. And it's going to be returned, as they say, on a long-term loan basis. So imagine, Tiff, come at your yard, Tiff out your something them, and later on say, well, you can't get it back, but me I'll loan it back to you. I owe something, and they're loaning it back to you. Oh my days, family, we got to make up noise about this. The Victoria and Albert Museum, which I thought was a nice, quiet, innocent museum, it's also got loads of our loot as well. About 80,000 pieces. No, he said he had a 2.5 million, I'll get the figure back again, pieces in that museum. They're lending back 17 pieces, and 15 are from the British Museum. So 15 pieces out of their 80 million pieces. And I know that at least 80% of that 80 million pieces that they've got belong to us and our ancestors, and is evidence of our history and our greatness. Imagine. Anyway, Ghana's chief negotiator, he had something to say. He said that he was hoping for a new sense of cultural cooperation after generations of anger. Wow. And the V&A and the British Museum say that they are banned by law from permanently giving back the items. Imagine them teeth you something, yeah? Then they make a law that enables them to keep what they teeth. And then they turn around and say, sorry, it's unlawful for us to give it back to you, even though we teeth it, you know, we've now got a law in place to say that we can't give it to you, but you know what? We'll loan you 32 pieces, 32 items out of 80 million pieces. Wow, wow, wow. So, yeah, here's some images of some of the other pieces that they're going to be returning. Wow, look at the artwork on this. Look at the artwork on this piece here, family. Wow. And you see this middle bit here, the mounds in England, a significant number of the mounds in England actually have this dome shape here with a hole in the top. They call it the bell mounds. And around the outside, like here, of the bell mound is a moat. They usually have a moat with water, or they dig, you know, a deep, deep kind of pit like all the way around. That was to stop people coming from the outside to get access to the burial mound where the king was. Maybe at one time, saying they might have even had alligators in the swamps or the waters or the moat around the burial mounds. But so it's interesting that this is the same shape of the burial mounds. And then, you know, these other wonderful leaf-like shapes all the way around the outside of this beautiful piece here. And look over here, they've got another really interesting gold piece. You know, so it shows that we were, you know, hundreds of years ago, and we don't go back thousands of years, but, you know, here is the evidence that hundreds of years ago, our forefathers in the Ghana region were actually smelting gold. And, you know, it's no small thing, you know, to know that you have discovered how to dig out gold and then melt it and then mold it into these artistic pieces. This is, you know, science and signs of geniuses and artists at work. So, you know, once you've worked out and calculated, you know, how to get the gold, how to access the gold, how to mine the gold, then you've got to refine it, then you're going to mold it, and then you're going to use it to do the designs. Wow. And then here is another piece. This is a pipe. I think it was a ceremonial pipe as well. Look at the long pipe, pure gold. Wow, you know. So that's just a little glimpse of some of the few tiny pieces that they are going to be returning. And let's see if we've got any more. So some of the teeth in there. Let's continue going down. They've got any more? Oh, look at this. Oh, and there is an African cross as well. You know, I wonder how old this piece was, and if it goes back, you know, hundreds or maybe thousands of years, because as we know, with these ceremonial pieces, they would have been handed down as well, some of them, from generation to generation. Some, of course, pieces the kings would take with them into their tombs for the afterlife, but then there would be many other pieces and treasures that they would keep and hand down from generation to generation. So what is this piece? So there's a gold model harp. Oh, this is a harp. My gosh, yes, look, there's the harp strings and there's a cross. So maybe they was playing this in, you know, some kind of ceremonial place. So isn't it beautiful? Let's see if we can home in and take a closer look at the design. So they've got, you know, some interesting pieces that have been cut out there, some leaf shapes, circle shapes on there, and all these little intricate designs all over the face of the harp. And then there's the piece, the mouthpiece that they would have blown into the harp strings. And that's where the sound would come out. I wonder if they actually managed to use it or if it was just a decorative piece. And then we also have an early 19th century, what I know. And then there's a gold torch on the right. Where's the torch? And sword. Well, there's the sword as well. It doesn't look like a torch to me, is it? Oh, torque. Sorry, torque, not torch. There's no H there. I've seen a H. A gold torque, that I'll call that a necklace. But yeah, wow, look at this beautiful necklace as well. I mean, this is hundreds of years old. As you can see, it's got that twisted gold. How many of us back in the days, you know, when we used to buy our gold earrings, had gold earrings that was twisted like that, but, you know, much smaller. And there we are, we buy these gold earrings thinking that, you know, some genius somewhere in England or America, wherever you happen to buy it, had come up with the design. No, this design goes back hundreds of years and can be found in the Kumasi, in the Ashanti Empire. And look at this really interesting piece of artwork as well down here on the gold torque. And then look at this sword as well, you know, with the leopard skin around it. And what's this bit made out of? So maybe iron, some sort of metal here. And then that's where the king would hold it. He put his hand in between, you know, the two leopard balls there. Very creative. And this is just a little glimpse. Imagine, you know, if we were looking at thousands of these pieces. Remember, they've got millions of pieces, you know, but imagine, you know, because like I said, I've seen images of golden chariots and because some of our kings were buried with their chariots and their horses and their burial tombs are just, you know, unimaginable. This is their image or when them got it and attacked the Ashanti kingdom, and there was murdering and slaughtering and looting as they went. Wow, wow, wow. So this is them talking about how they can cut through politics. I laugh no more. King Charles, oh yeah, they're saying that. I mean, I don't have a TV here, I don't know what's going on, but I did come across something to say that Prince Charles has got cancer. Is that true? Those of you from the UK might want to comment on that. So, oh, look, some more pieces here. Oh, it's only a fraction. You're right, it's only a fraction. Now we've got the numbers, we know the extent to which. See here, 2.8 million items in the V&A collection alone, and 80 million in the British Museum. Let's zoom in a bit and see what we've got here. Wow, that looks like a belt that maybe the chief would have worn, or the king may have worn. And there's the pipe, and there's some coins and you know, some decorative brooches maybe and rings and things. Wow. I can't zoom in anymore to look at it any more closely. But yes, some really interesting pieces there. So it's not surprising they want to hold on to it, because if they were to give back everything them teeth, where they would have? What would they be left with? Very little indeed. So yes, family. There we have, you know, some of the collection that's and some of the objects that's going to be returned. And let's see, the Royal Collection also holds objects including another gold trophy head in the form of a mask, a gold mask. This type of item represented defeated enemies. The trophies were attached by a hoop to ceremonial swords in the state regalia. Wow, wow, wow. And that's part of the problem, you know. We were fighting among ourselves too much. You know, you had great nations that built their great kingdoms, that built their great empires, and within their empire walls, they were smelting golds, they were making all these wonderful objects and artifacts, and they were making furnitures, king's furnitures and chairs and bed heads and chandeliers out of gold. They were doing all these magnificent, wonderful things. And then you'd have another nation of people, Diamliers in Ardenotten, and decide, say, them one go rub that city or that kingdom over there and take it over, you know, rather than build their own. Yeah. And this is what we've got going on until today. You know, there's more than enough land on the continent of Africa for all the different nations and groups to have their own. But no, then one where you have, because where you are is the gold or the diamonds, and then go on dig where them there to see what they have. So what happened now? You know, then they find themselves, you know, fighting against another set of their brothers and their sisters. And then well done now, when they've slaughtered all of them and they've taken over their city, invaders come in and slaughter the same one then what that did the slaughtering maybe 100 years earlier. So it really, really doesn't pay at all. So yeah, Britain's increasingly confronting the cultural legacy of its colonial past, and family, we've got to do what we need to do to make sure that they never forget that they need to return these objects back to their rightful owners. And so much more that can be said there. And there's some other articles here as well. And let me bring in an article from our brother who I was telling you about, Nai Kwati Owu, the international filmmaker. Let's share screen again and bring that in for you, family. It's an article that this is something that we've got from him here. So here we go. So he's going to be there tomorrow at the Manhaya Kingdom as a museum, as it unveils some of the looted Ashanti royal regalia. Some of the looted Ashanti golden royal regalia and other precious ornaments that were stolen by the Queen's people, they're going to be returning it, some of it on a loan basis to the Ashanti History Museum. The first batch of artifacts is going to arrive at the palace over the weekend at the Strong End, followed by the second batch on Monday the 5th of February. So they've already got some of it, and it's all going to happen under tight security, and it's going to go straight to the Ashanti Otumfu or Osi Tutu II in the afternoon. And Ni Kweti Owu, the Ghanaian international filmmaker who had the rare opportunity of seeing the looted artifacts from different African countries, and we know that was in the underground of the British Museum, said he didn't believe what he saw when he entered the basement of the British Museum 50 years ago. He said among the treasures he saw were those stolen from the Ashanti's palace when the British demolished the royal palace with explosives and stole the ornaments during 1874 in the Sagarinti War. He said it was like time travel. When I left the office of the Kurat and went down into the basement 50 feet under the ground, when we landed in the aroma of our ancestors. He said, I mean, I'm talking about all these artifacts that have been hidden. You know, there is an aroma that came to overwhelm me. He said, I could smell it. It was almost like they were saying, you know, welcome to our great grandsons. Spiritually, I felt the scent of our ancestors, he explained. 1.5 centuries later, the stolen treasures from the palace are now being returned to their original place after an agreement between the Manhaya Palace and the UK government. Nana Prof Ohienebe Bochi Ajay Wohoini, the second Otumfu's Hayahini, confirmed to Kasapa News that the first batch of 7 treasures from the Fowler Museum has arrived. The Fowler Museum in California has delivered 7 precious gold items to the man here. So them have some of the teeth in loot as well. We are California. And it's going to be on display tomorrow at the Ashanti Palace. And as I said, we will be hearing at some point in the very near future from our brother about that event that he is going to be at live and direct. Wow. So the remaining 32 ornaments from the British museums are expected to arrive in April. So they got some from California as well. As I said, when them teeth, they give some to this museum, some to them friend in that museum, some to that one. Wow. So it's a step in the right direction, says our brother Nine. It's a step in the right direction. However, the big question demanding answers from resident historian in Manhaya Palace is how substantial are these artifacts to the Ashanti Kingdom? Now that the items have returned to its origin, people are going to follow up by coming to the museum to observe what has been returned, to know all of the interesting stories from the time it was looted away and its return. Note that this is of economic importance to Ghana. It certainly is. I mean, the British Museum has something like 4 million visitors a year. Imagine the visitors and the tourism to Ghana if they had their treasures on display for the public to come and see. Wow, the Ashanti gold artifacts are the ultimate symbol of the Ashanti royal government and are believed to be invested with the spirit of the former Ashanti king. Wow. I wonder if there's going to be a big spiritual move tomorrow. Can you imagine? He said in May this year, the Ashanti Otumfu Osei Tutu II will mark 25 years of his ascension onto the Ashantima golden stool. I wonder if he's going to be sitting on the Ashanti golden stool. Wow, wow, wow. So another interesting article there, or this is a little insight into the Manhia Palace. Let's see if we can take a little look inside the King's Palace. Sorry, it's a bit too slow to open up. Okay. Is it going to open up? No, I think it always goes slow here. Rise Up the Al-Kabelan Revivalist Movement as well. Do check out their website, alkabelan.org. This is Leader Bandaka and team. They did a show on this on Monday. I was doing my class on Monday, so unfortunately I missed it. But you can catch up. You can catch their shows on Mixcloud, okay? Go to their website. This was a really interesting read on that as well. And up here at Netflix, I'm watching a really interesting, anyway, we'll leave that alone. Interesting series, African Netflix series. Wow, I mean, it's the first time watching Netflix in about a year. And it was last night I started watching this series, this African movie series. And I tell you, I'm watching it till 1 o'clock in the morning, one after the other. And I'm going to be watching the rest of it tonight as well. It was just so gripping. And so it's good that, you know, our African people in the media are making such entertaining and interesting films and series. So thank you so much for that. Okay, let's go back over to YouTube and find out what our audience, what you're saying to me. Those of you in the audience, rise up, everybody who is in the house and watching from wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much. Okay, Brother Kwame is saying they should give back what is ours. Absolutely agree, he says. And Ashe to brother, the other Kwame Osei in the house. Rise up, brother Kwame Osei. Yes, Kwame Osei joined us yesterday on the interview with our brother. Oh, what a session that was. Andrew says every single artifact has a financial value. This is one of the reasons why the British Museum does not want to give them back, because it increases the financial value of their museums. You know, so all their teething treasures and teething loot has even got a financial value. I tell you, these insurance companies and these banks, they're all in it together, aren't they? Imagine, you know, you thief somebody's goods and then you're going to go and insure it. And then your house is going to increase in value because it's full of somebody else's stolen stuff. It's just, you know, criminal. Rise up, Queen Nzinga, who says, remember, it was the British demanding the golden stool, which led to the Ashanti Wars. Yes, and led by Queen Mother Ya Ashantiwa. Yes, if the man then won't fight to protect the golden stool, then the women will lead the charge. And they did, and they fought gallantly to protect the golden stool. Let's see if I've got any more comments in the chat. Roger Rise Up, he says, don't give them back, but they better be prepared to protect them. Absolutely. The teeth them are going to line up to try to teeth them back again. Innit? Yes. And teeth of all complexions. Brother Boje, Brother Kwame saying, I will never take my kids to these teething places, especially museums. I hear and I understand the sentiments, but it's our stuff. Let them see the greatness of our things. Let them know say, you know, it's teeth the people, them teeth them and put them there. But we shouldn't deny our children, you know, the knowledge of our great ancestors' works, and also for them to get to see the greatness of those works. That's just my thoughts, Brother Kwame. Norman says, wars among African ancient kingdoms were orchestrated by the artifact robbers to make the robbery more effective. Yes, I'm sure there were, you know, some wars that were instigated and orchestrated. But, you know, I do know from our history as well that we were fighting among each other too much. If you go back, you know, to the Punic Wars, you know, Hannibal, you know, who were the ones that joined forces with the Romans so that they could beat Carthage and reduce Carthage to rubble, to torch Carthage and slaughter all of its people and burn down that magnificent, beautiful city, you know? There's too many examples throughout our history, especially, you know, throughout our European history of us fighting each other. It's like as a new wave of African came, they would slaughter and fight and subdue the former Africans who were there, and then another wave would come, more sophisticated, they would think, you know, because they've got greater knowledge of technology and so-called civilization, and then want to subdue the ones who were there before. Rise up, Brother Gab. Good to have you in the house. Good to see you in the house, Brother Gab, all the way from the USA. Kemetu, Ra, good to have you in the house. Says, surname has a huge, almost similar Akan people. Oh, Suriname has a huge, almost similar Akan people. Suriname even has huge amount of gold. The Dutch had a very close relationship with the Ashanti, and I think there are 2/4 different Ashanti kingdoms. Okay. Prince Charles has cancer, but what form of cancer, they are not sure. Thanks for that, Gerald. For sharing that with us. Rise up, Brother Gerald in the house. Rise up, Brother Gerald. Brother Simon, he said, damn teeth. Yeah. Sister, Brother Kwame. I bet Sister Shanice and her family, if I teeth, then she will give me a 10-second start. I'm only kidding. If I teeth, then she will give me a 10-second start. Brother. All right. So thank you so much for your comments. Wow. Is there anybody in the chat that wants to join me for the last 5, 10, 15 minutes or so? Would you like to come and share a story, share some information? If you've donated to our sister Andrea's appeal, do you want to come on and tell us why you donated? That would be wonderful. You will encourage and inspire somebody else maybe to do the same. So let me find the invite link. Just copy the invite link there, and I'm going to paste it in the chat. And if you would like to come and join me and say a few words, I would welcome you with open arms, okay? Yes, Kwame, thieves don't prosper, for real, because there's going to come a time, there's going to come a generation that's going to run them people, they will just take over the British Museum, just take it over. Nothing in there after them, you know? So I saw it go at some point in the future. Okay, so let me know if you want to join me. We've got an appeal ongoing, a GoFundMe appeal for our sister Andrea. Go to GoFundMe.com and just search for emergency appeal for Andrea. The 4 is number 4, and the appeal will come up. Okay, as I was saying earlier in the show, there are many of us who would like to take a trip to Rise Up. Sister Nzinga's coming to join me. There are many of us who would like to take a trip to Africa to reconnect with our motherland, yeah? But the last thing we think of is that, you know, while we're here, we might find ourselves in hospital. And this is what's happened to one of our sisters, and she needs our help. Queen Nzinga, rise up, rise up. Little Dark, if you've got a light, please put your light on. That would be great. Love to see you. Take yourself off mute. Oh, yes, seen you now, Queen. Yeah, we've seen you now. Or we will take yourself off mute. We've been joined by our Queen Nzinga from the UK. You're on mute though, beloved. You're on mute. You're still on mute. Okay, rise up. We've got Door of L in the house as well. Rise up, rise up. Queen Nzinga, you're still on mute. Unmute your phone, please. While our Queen Nzinga is unmuting her phone, we welcome Door of L. Can we hear from you, Door of L? Greetings. Greetings. Oh, where's he gone? Talk to me. I'm not hearing you at the moment. Queen Nzinga, you're still on mute. Okay, our brother's dropping in and out there. You're still on mute, Queen Nzinga. I can see you're still on mute.
Oh, I've got it now.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I hear you. I really thought I would share a poem if you have time.
Yes, I do. Go ahead. That'd be
and
beautiful.
I'm going to share my...
Can we dedicate it to Andrea, who's
we
not
will
well?
definitely dedicate it to Andrea and to all our people, and really to know it's wake-up time. And we have to stop sleeping now because we're in for some serious war coming. You hear Enoch Powell talks about the blood on the streets. We better look out for it. It's on the way. So the poem is called They Took My Mama and Made Her White. They took my mama and made her white, so much so that she hates herself. They took my mama and made her white, and she became ashamed of her color. Ashamed to be black, she favored white or light skin. Anything too black, don't have anything to do with it, says my mama, as she reverently watches and admires the queen. Her white Christ is on the wall, all blonde-haired, blue-eyed and smiling, and my black-white mama worships reverently. No room for black visual images, no room for African gods, no room for African religion, because my black mama's white through and through. To New York I went one summer, a black Madonna and child I did bring for my mama. No thanks did I get, no exclamation of delight, not even a what that you bring. No words were uttered by my parent to say that's an interesting picture you have there. It made me sad. Oh, so sad to realize that my mama was white through and through. I feel so sorry for her because she thinks that I am mad for loving blackness more than anything else in this world. She calls me up often to tell me to stop them things that you're saying, to stop attending them meeting that you're attending, Them going to cut you down, she tells me, as if I care. That nice job that you did have in the health service, you give it up and now you turn nobody. Me have to laugh and remind her of how enslavement, of colonialism, imperialism, white supremacy, which robbed Africans of our minds and our lands and resources. She calls me evil, wishes I died at birth, and I have to shake my head in despair because my mama's going to go to her grave and she'll still be white through and through. Thank you, Sister Shanice, for letting me share that with our people.
Thank you.
That is a
It's
true
such
story.
Such a powerful poem and a true story as well, because yes, I mean, so many of our parents' generation was just so impacted, weren't they, by the colonial
Indeed.
whitewashing.
Indeed.
Yes. Wow. Thank you for sharing that
And
poem.
thank you for having
Stay
me.
there, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We've got Door of L on the line. Welcome,
Okay.
Door of L. How are you?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear
me
me?
loud and clear
Okay.
now. Yes.
All right. I just want to ask you a few questions, actually, and please, I've been trying to get a hold of D.S. Jammer's book, his etymology book, for over 5 years.
Oh my
I
God.
did contact him once successfully, and I haven't been able to get a hold of him again. So I've been trying to get a hold of his book for years. So I just wonder when you're going to have him back on the show again. Also, I heard that last time you all had Dr. Marie Charles on, that she was supposed to be having a new MFIT come out. So I'm wondering if you're going to have her on when that new one comes out, or if it's not out yet. Definitely want to have some information about that, because she's supposed to go into more information about how everything is connected by the names and all that. And I definitely want to hear that. And also, Franklin Jones, he's a favorite too. So
Okay, well, thank you so much for that. Our brother Jammers, he's a co-pilot on the Big G Galaxy Alpha, so I'll be able to reach out to him and let him know that he needs to make his book more easily accessible and available. I know that he was updating his book, and I think he was saying the last time he was with us that it's going to be coming out around about March. So I've been doing a series. I was doing a series on Britain.
no, he actually said January. He said January because I was. Yeah, he said January because I've been waiting, and I've been, I thought I was hit. I found an email. I thought it was your email to try to. Hey, he said it was coming out in January. I'm trying to, I've been trying to get a hold of that book for years, and I'm,
Oh wow!
I'm really.
But you've made the request. I'll do my best to try and get him on the show. Definitely, as I said, he's a co-pilot, and so I have regular communication with him. Dr. Marie Charles, I know she's extremely busy. I can't comment. I don't know, where she's at with her works. Brother Franklin Jones, I see that he's been posting quite regularly on my Facebook, so I know he's busy out there, and I will reach out to Brother Franklin Jones because you've requested that I do so as well. So I know I can see he's active at the moment, and so he's probably got a lot to share right now as well. So thank you.
Thank you,
Brother Dorabelle, and I'll follow up and get back.
And I do have both of your books, by the way, as well.
Thank you so much. And, you can be completely honest. I mean, did you discover and learn anything new from them?
Oh, of course. Yeah, the King Ofa. That's great. And the new one, yeah, I enjoyed both of them. It's great resources in there, and we just can't say stuff and not have any information to back it up. You got to have resources. So I'm glad that you and you being with Dr. Clyde, you guys are heavy into the resources. So I appreciate that.
That's great. And we put it there so that if you want to do further research, if you want to go and check, our sources, It's all there. All the information's there for you. Thank you so much, Dorabelle. Thank you for coming
Thank you
on
too.
live as well. Much appreciated, love.
All right,
And
no
Sister
problem. Thank
Nzinga,
you.
Queen Nzinga is an author as well. Queen Nzinga, how can people get hold of your book?
Oh, I did put my details in the chat. I put my email in the chat. It's anzinga@hotmail.com, and that's ANZINGHA@hotmail.com. Women in the Garvey movement.
Women in the Garvey movement?
That's right.
Yeah, and I do interview Queen Nzinga. I had the pleasure of interviewing Queen Nzinga a few months back, and that video is on this channel, and it highlights some of the women, the formidable women who were
Indeed.
active in the Garvey movement.
There's 3 million of them, Sister Shanice.
Wow, imagine. And so, you've just highlighted a few and their contribution. And so if we didn't have great ones among us like Queen Nzinga, capturing this history and putting it in a book, all their works could just be lost and most of us wouldn't even know about it.
Indeed.
So thank you for your great works. There's so many books that need to be written. So many books.
And there's so many that actually exist. I mean, A Sword Amongst Thorns about Ida B. Wells Barnett, the anti-lynching campaigner. That is such an amazing book. Set the World on Fire by Keisha N. Blaine. Shakara told me about that book and I couldn't put it down when I got it. It's about all of the women who, when Garvey was deported to Jamaica, stepped up and carried on that work.
Oh, wow.
I have a question now. Does that book include the Ghana princess in it who was claimed that she was from Ghana and she had fell out with the Garvey
I've never
movement?
heard of her. It doesn't include her at all.
Oh man, you really got to man, I'm on my phone.
You can only go with what you have at the time, so it's always great to get new information.
Oh yes. I can't remember her name offhand, but if you look up she was a Ghana princess, she said, and she was part of the Garvey movement. And actually they assassinated her.
She's not mentioned in any of the books about Garvey.
Yeah. So it is a fascinating history about that particular lady individually. And she was very powerful.
Indeed. Mind you, all the women were powerful in the Garvey movement. Yeah. Henrietta Vinton Davis, Madame Demina, Marie du Chatelier, Amy Jackson, Amy Ashwood Garvey, all great warriors who left a phenomenal legacy.
Brilliant, brilliant. So family, get that book, get to know the stories. To everyone who's joined us this evening, we thank you so much. Brother Kwame says, that's so brilliant. I enjoyed that. I think he's talking about your poem.
Thank him.
Mama Nzinga, when Mama Amy Jacks Garvey was in Accra, she did condemn our irresponsibility by allowing these demon teething our valuables.
Indeed.
Right. Yes, okay, thank you for that.
She was just one of the most powerful women, so many powerful women in history, but she really was a magnificent specimen of women.
All right, I was able to look up her name.
Yes.
And her name is Laura Kofi. So
never heard of her.
Do research on her.
Definitely, you do. I'll have a look as well. Thank you.
Laura Kofi. Is that Kofi?
Koffey.
Kofi.
Okay.
Kofi. Laura Kofi.
Oh, Laura Kofi. Thank you so much for that. Mama Nzinga, Brother Kwame Oboji, Sister Chairs, they're saying, can we have Queen Nzinga back on your show, Sister Shanice? I would love to have our Queen Nzinga back on the show again.
Sister Shanice is always welcome to have me anytime. I'm also extremely busy, I have to say. And as you know, I've not long ago had major surgery. so I have to take it easy.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
In your
but
own
I'm happy
time.
to come from time to time.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I'll be in touch and we'll get a date in the diary that's convenient
Indeed.
for you.
Thanks,
Okay, so
thanks.
see, Kwame, OJ, this, says that poem, she said that poem is so beautiful.
Oh,
And
thank you.
Tyrese Gibson, who's an American actor and singer, said he wished he was Latino, only this very strong. Oh, right. Is that an African saying that they wish they were Latino?
To be honest with you, this just tells you of the mental slavery that many of our people are still suffering from. And we need to get out of it because we are the original people. We gave the world civilization. We don't need to be anybody else other than ourselves.
But I believe Latino have black in them. So
who cares about what they have in them? We are the original people.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that's how ridiculous the statement is. They have black in them. So
Indeed, but let them get on with it. If they want to be Latino, clear off and go and be it.
Oh, yes. About Latino. Why want to be half of greatness?
You know what I'm saying?
When you could be, and
the
you got
whole
the whole
thing yourself.
No.
No, we don't be bothered with them anymore. We know we are the original mothers and fathers of creation. So we don't have to grudge nobody nothing. We have everything.
And that's why, you know, getting access to our artifacts and seeing the evidence of our greatness is so important, you know, because a lot of our people, they believe the brainwashing, they believe the whitewashing, they've got the white Jesus on the wall, you know, and they think everything white is right, you know. So they have been affected by the virus.
Very badly, very badly, very badly. Anyway, they're not exposed to the de-brainwashing show.
Yes, they need to tune in. Definitely. I look forward to you joining us again, Queen and Singer.
No worries. You have a wonderful rest of the day.
Well. Thank you so much. Well, we're ending
bye to family.
Bye to family. Yes, indeed. To everyone in the audience, thank you so much for joining us and for keeping it locked. And to everyone who's donated to our sister Andrea, thank you so much. I'll post the link under this video after the show as well. If you haven't already given us a like, if you haven't already subscribed, then please do so. Share as well. We need to get the message to help Andrea out there. More love, more strength, everybody, more power, and more woodum to each and every one of you. Bye for now.
Bye.
One love,
Be one. Be one.
Be one.